hearing for truth and taxation regarding a public comment regarding the proposed 2024 budget. Anyone here for public comment? The public hearing for truth and taxation. One in the gallery, online. Lynn, anybody Zoom?
There are, but I don't see anyone raising their.
Nobody's raising their hand at this time. Going once. Twice. Okay, very well. We'll close the public hearing and we'll move on to our AlpenaCounty Board of Commissioners Finance and Ways and Means Committee meeting. So I'll call the meeting to order. We'll begin with a roll call, please.
Commissioner LaHaye.
Here.
Commissioner Osmer.
Here.
Commissioner Lalone. Here. Commissioner Peterson.
Here.
Commissioner Fournier. Here. Commissioner Konashevsky.
Here.
Commissioner Kozlowski.
Here.
Commissioner Francisco.
Here. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you, everyone. First order of business is to adopt the agenda. You should all have the agenda. I'll look for a motion and support to adopt the agenda.
I'll make the motion.
I have a motion from Commissioner LaHaye. Do I have support?
Support.
Support. I have support from Commissioner Lalone. Any discussion on the agenda as presented? Hearing none, all in favor of adopting the agenda as presented indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Hearing none, the motion is carried. The agenda is adopted. First item on the agenda then is to pay the bills. I'll look for a motion and support to pay all the bills as submitted. I have a motion from Commissioner Osmer. Do I have support?
I'll support it.
Support from Commissioner LaHaye. Any discussion on the bills to pay as submitted?
You have one. Let me see where it was.
Okay.
Under general fund for professional services, Alliance Inc. for 24 annual life advisor. What was that?
That is the employee benefits. I can't think of the word that I am looking for. I have lost it. It is the,
Is that a voluntary one? or-
it's the employee assistance program that we decided to move forward with this year.
That's the contract payment.
Yes.
Provide EAP to employees.
Yes.
Ask for it. Okay.
Employee assistance program, EAP. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Commissioner Kozlowski, is satisfied? Okay. Any other discussion? If not, I have a motion and support. All in favor to pay the bills as submitted indicate by saying aye. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Yeah. Roll call, please.
Commissioner LaHaye.
Here.
Commissioner Osmer.
Yes.
Commissioner Lalone.
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson.
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier.
Yes.
Commissioner Konashevsky.
Yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski.
Yes.
Commissioner Francisco.
Yes. Next item on our agenda is a request from the prosecuting attorney for a approval of a summer intern for the prosecutor's office for 2024. And to authorize the treasurer to either to create a payroll intern line item to be used to be added, or to use the current temporary assistant prosecutor line item number 101-277-704.000. And to be used for the transfer from the current 2023 budget line item of assistant prosecutor number 2, line item number 101-277-703.003 of the amount of $9,600 to facilitate the opportunity to have a summer intern for the county prosecutor's office. This adjustment is a one-time payment to the Prosecuting Attorney Association of Michigan. Do I have a motion to approve and support?
Okay, so there's all kinds of issues with this.
Okay.
So I did have some emails back and forth with the prosecutor. Unfortunately, she's not here. Mr. Francisco and Mr. Osmore and Mr. Kozlowski were copied on those emails that went back and forth. Because the way this is written was very confusing to me. So I reached out to her to get some clarification. So she's saying a payroll number, and we're not actually going to pay this through a payroll. This is a contractual services.
Okay.
So that was the clarification that I needed, and she's not looking, what she's looking for is a budget adjustment for this year. She's looking to take the 9,600 from her assistant prosecutor's line item number 3, which currently has $14,613 available in that line item, and transfer it to the contractual services line item for this year's budget and pay it this year, even though it's going to be for contractual services for next year.
And that is,
That requires board action because you're moving it from a payroll line item to a non-payroll line item.
And you're paying something ahead of time.
but based upon the request is appropriate.
Mhm.
It is legal. It is understood, correct?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's just in no way does it affect our payroll.
understand.
Because, and when she says taking it to a different payroll number, it's a contractual services.
Okay, so I'm looking for a motion to allow the treasurer to work with the prosecutor's office to transfer $9,600 into wherever it is right now into the contractual services. So to allow this summer intern to work in 2024.
I'll make that motion.
The 23 budget, we're transferring $9,600 from 101,296,703.003
Right?
to 101,296,803.000 contractual services to pay the
If I
in.
had the knowledge of the line item numbers like.
Right, yeah.
I would have said those, but I don't. So whatever you said,
They were all in the emails as well, and I do have copies of those emails.
I do, but I don't have time to pull them up. I'm sorry. So do I have a motion and support? I have a motion from Commissioner Peterson to allow the budget adjustment from the appropriate line item numbers as indicated by our treasurer. Do I have support?
Support.
Thank you. I have support. Roll call, please. Or any further discussion, excuse me.
Just
Further discussion.
question.
Sure.
So I just want to make sure I understand. So the money is coming in specifically for this program. Does it have to be approved by the union or anybody else? Or is it just? Okay.
It is a summer intern through the Prosecutors Association. And actually, we do have, so if there are any questions, Nancy can answer them from the prosecutor's office.
And so Nancy, the union wouldn't have a say?
No.
Okay, all right.
Commissioner Kozlowski?
My question is that we're gonna pay this $9,600 out of this year's money to Pam for the intern. Then there'll be no additional money coming out of next year for anything from the county, correct?
That is correct for this position. That
And
is
then my other question as I read through this is, so in her email, in her letter, she indicated that this was the, looking at trying to get that third position filled. And she was looking at possibly using this person. If this person decides for whatever reason that they don't want to come, what happens then?
Well, I'm sorry.
Go
Is it-
ahead. I
is
was
it
going to say,
still-
you guys did not approve that position, so there is no open position currently.
No, I know
If-
that, I know.
If a position, if this board decides to approve a position, then that
Well,
person could.
that's not my question. So
Okay.
My question, what I'm getting at is, we're
I
paying
think
the
I
nine,
understand your question. Would it change the candidate's mind, the intern's mind from coming here if there's no chance of a job?
yes.
Should it impact that particular candidate, Sam would interview someone.
Okay,
So we would still have an.
so we would get an intern
Yes.
regardless, okay. Thank you.
Any other discussion or questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Osmer,
Yes.
Commissioner Lalone,
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Konashevsky,
Yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski,
Yes.
Commissioner LaHaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Francisco.
Yes. The next item on our agenda is action item number 3. It's to approve the letter of understanding with AlpenaCounty and the prosecuting attorney's office of Michigan for the legal secretary stipend for additional tasks that were stated in the submitted letter in the amount of $3,900 to be paid in equal payments over 26 pay periods in 2024. Let's start with a motion and support and then discussion. Do I have a motion to support the letter of understanding, the stipend for the legal secretary in the amount of $3,900?
Yes.
I have a motion from Commissioner Lalone. Do I have support? I have support from Commissioner Peterson. Discussion, questions, please.
Question that I have on this, because TPOM, we got on, I think I got the guide on TPOM, regarding the union having to vote on this. And I did check and what I found out was this wouldn't be voted on until voting would be closed at 3 o'clock this afternoon. So if we're voting or if we're approving this and it gets denied, my question is, why would we approve this before it either gets approved or denied?
You could approve it contingent upon the approval of TPOAM, and if TPOAM doesn't approve it, then it wouldn't move forward. Just means that we don't have to bring it back.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yep. So then the other question that I have, and again, I know Cynthia's not here, but so these are additional duties it looks like that were added, she added for this particular position. My question is, and again, you probably won't know this, but who's been doing these duties prior?
Nancy might.
He's the special investigator, but yes, Nancy
Yeah,
can
the
answer
special
that.
investigator, Phil Saya, used to do all of this work for us. Since he hasn't been with us, we haven't had anyone to do it. And we've been extremely strapped on this, especially with staff. We're asking this person to go above and beyond what she's already doing. She is responsible for all of the security measures and making sure all the education is done in our department on a timely basis and writing all those reports. So she has quite a bit of responsibility in this. And like I said before, it fell on Mr. Sam.
Thank you, ma'am.
Just
Any other?
point of clarification.
Sure,
Sorry.
please.
So the motion that was made was to adopt it as written. Are they going to amend that motion, or can that motion be whoever made the motion and seconded to read that's contingent upon DPOAM?
That'd be Robin.
I just want to make sure the motion
That
is
would be
proper.
Robin. You, Robin, if you want to amend your motion to include contingent upon the TPOAM approval.
I'd like to amend my motion to be upon approval of the TPOAM.
I'll second it again.
And we have Commissioner Lalone, again, amending her original motion, and I have Commissioner Peterson also supporting. Any further discussion or question? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Lalone,
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier,
No.
Commissioner Konashevsky,
Yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski,
No.
Commissioner LaHaye,
No.
Commissioner Osmer,
No.
Commissioner Francisco.
Yes.
Motion denied.
Motion has failed as we had a 4-4 tie and no for majority. Okay. Next on our agenda is our county treasurer, Kim Ludlow.
Okay, so at the beginning of this year, you had $4,449,718.59 of a beginning fund balance. Through November 30th of this year, you received $11,566,308.10 in revenue, with actual expenditures of $11,540,854.02. Funds available at the end of November of $4,475,000 $172.67. We are at 94.41% of our budgeted revenue with 87% of our budgeted expenditures. For at the end of November, we have spent $353,423 for the month of November, more than what we brought in last year. We were ahead by $222,091.33. But year to date, we have received $25,454.08 more than what we spent. Last year at this time, we had received $538,987.60 more than what we've brought in. So we've spent about 400,000 more, 500,000 so far we'll see. But that's where we're anticipating to end up as well.
Okay, thank you. I look for a motion and support to receive and file the monthly treasurer's report for the month of November 2023 as presented. I have a motion from Commissioner Kozlowski. I have support from Commissioner Fournier. Any discussion, questions on the treasurer's report for November?
God, I think we should end the year, 11:30.
Right now, yeah.
Let's end the year right now.
Yeah, if
I
only,
think there's people with cutting on those payrolls that would not appreciate that.
especially when there's 3 in the month, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Let's do a roll call, please.
Commissioner Peterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Konashevsky,
Yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski,
Yes.
Commissioner LaHaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Osmer,
Yes.
Commissioner LaLonde,
Yes.
Commissioner Francisco.
Yes. Next item on the agenda involves action items 5 through 14. It's a recommendation to adopt the 2024 budget policy, including the fiscal policies that are a part of the 2024 budget. And just quickly, it's resolution for component funds, general fund, special revenue funds, debt service funds, capital project funds, enterprise funds, internal funds, the approval of the treasurer's reserve recommendation for 2023, and that the treasurer be authorized to pay all remaining bills for 2023 and make those budget adjustments for 2023. Again, action items 5 through 14. Do I have motion and support?
Make a motion, we approve these as a whole, pending any withdrawals of any recommendation.
Okay, yes, sir. Do I have support?
Support.
I have support from Commissioner Konashevsky. Discussion.
I have one question on number 5. The first line, it's the 2024 budget policy. It said no new position or unbudgeted will be allowed. It seems like there's missing something. Something's missing. Could it be position or?
You could add, right, no new position or unbudgeted position. If you, for clarity's sake, yes.
Would that be my only recommendation?
Okay, so the recommendation is to add no new position or unbudgeted position. And then in the 2024 budget policy. I have a motion from Commissioner Kozlowski. I have support from Commissioner LaLonde. Any further discussion?
No, Fournier.
Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Fournier. I stand corrected.
We look a lot alike. It's understandable.
Yeah. Can't you tell?
Taking on my left ear, a little bit of an occupational.
It's because you moved my seat and you moved mine.
Yeah, it's been the talk of the town. Any further discussion? Okay, let's do a roll call, please.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Konashevsky,
Yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski,
Yes.
Commissioner LaHaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Osmer, Commissioner LaLonde,
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Francisco.
Yes. Motion is carried. Action items 5 through 14 are adopted as a part of the 2024 budget. The next item on our agenda are budget adjustments. Looking for a motion to approve the budget adjustments as presented. Motion and support.
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion from Commissioner LaLonde. Do I have support? Supported. Support from Commissioner LaHaye. Any question on the budget adjustments as presented? If not, roll call, please.
Commissioner Konashevsky,
Yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski,
Yes.
Commissioner LaHaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Osmer,
Yes.
Commissioner LaLonde,
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Francisco.
Yes. The next items on our agenda are from our county administrator, Mary Catherine.
So you have an example of the attorney contracts that would be approved. The proposed scope of these contracts is 2024 through 2026. These are the same batch of attorneys that we currently have representing our indigent clients who come through the probate and juvenile courts. you have an example contract. One of the only real change that we made this year in these contracts is we split them out. Last year, it was one contract that listed all of the attorneys, which made it a challenge because we did have some people substitute on and off those contracts, which meant you had to redo the whole thing. This year I split them out so that each of the attorneys has an identical contract, but it is individual to them so that if we need to swap them, we can simply redo that one contract. So the contract amount that you have in there is for Attorney Burke, which is the $3,800 per month. Attorney Wilson also is $3,800 per month. Emily Manning is $1,700 per month. Ms. Van Massenhove is requesting an adjustment. She has been at $3,100 a month and is asking to be bumped to the same amount as Attorney Burke and Attorney Wilson at the $3,800 a month, which would be an upward adjustment on the total contract amount of $8,400. We would then have to make that adjustment, in the first part of next year for that budgeted line if we approved that increase in that contract amount. I did speak with the judge and the court personnel who work with Ms. Van Massenhove, and they felt like, given the work that she has been taking on and is doing in terms of meeting with the minor, she is the GAL in those cases, that they felt like that potentially could be a justified increase in that contract.
So we have two that are getting 38 right now.
Correct.
Which ones were those?
Attorney Burke and Attorney Wilson.
And then she would be the third one.
Correct.
Sorry, what was the other?
The Wojah firm is $3,100 and Emily Manning is $1,700. And that's based on the scope and the amount of cases that they take based on the representation.
Just a quick note, and I'm sorry, I didn't realize, I thought we were just doing Burke today. I didn't realize, with an example. I do work for Ms. Van Massenhove's firm, so for that purpose, I would like to recuse myself. Any vote on this matter.
Or do I have a motion to approve Commissioner Osmer's request to be recused from vote on this matter?
Make a motion.
I have a motion from Commissioner Kozlowski
I
and
didn't say anything. I didn't.
Commissioner Konashevsky.
I was just gonna say, boy, people jumped on that one quick.
Yes, bye, Jesse.
Yeah.
I have a motion from Commissioner Konashevsky to allow Commissioner Osmer to be recused from this vote. I have support from Commissioner Lalone. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion's carried. You may take a break, Commissioner Osmer, for a moment. So, thank you, Mary Catherine. So at this time, I'm looking for a motion and support to approve the attorney contracts from January 1, 2024 to December 2026 for attorney legal representation as presented, to include the increase for Attorney Van Massenhoff to $3,800.
What is she receiving right now?
$3,100 per month.
So $7,000.
$8,400 would be the delta between what she is currently receiving and what she would be receiving.
Any further question or discussions? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Kozlowski,
Yes.
Commissioner LaHaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Lalone,
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Konashevsky,
Yes.
Commissioner Francisco.
Yes. Motion is carried. The next item on our agenda then is to approve the appraisal service increase. And action item 17 is recommends the approval of appraisal service from Piazza Appraisal Service in the amount of $4,800 to get an appraisal on the property at 601 River Street, Alpena, Michigan, 49707. This board had previously approved up to $800 to get an appraisal for the property at 601 River Street, Alpena, Michigan. We look for a motion and support.
So I would, I'm sorry. I'll wait for that.
We should make a motion. I'd like to make a motion that I'm recused from this vote. I did resign as the Michigan representative of the Boys and Girls Club last week and as a board member, but I feel like it's still too close and I feel like there's a conflict of interest.
Make that motion.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Osmer to honor Commissioner Lalone's request to be recused from this vote on item number 17. Do I have support?
I'll support.
I have support from Commissioner Kozlowski. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All of those opposed, same sign. Hearing none.
No,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I said no.
Brenda says no. Okay, thank you. I have one no and a majority of ayes, so the motion is carried and Commissioner Lalone will recuse herself from this particular vote. So I'm still looking for a vote or correction, a motion
Chairman.
to approve. Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was gonna say I'll make,
Okay.
I can make a motion other than what's presented, right? Okay. So because we were originally talking about the cost only being 500, I feel that, or 800, I'm sorry. And we're now looking at a $4,000 increase, which is quite the jump. I know previously we did talk about a 20% to 80% difference. I know I talked to Commissioner Fournier and she felt strongly that that amount should be 30/70.
No,
And
she said.
wasn't
Not what I said.
wasn't it 37?
Yes, it
Okay,
was.
it was. So I would make a motion, that for that reason, we split the difference. We go 25/75, waive doing the appraisal simply because if it's only $100,000 building, $4,000 is quite the jump.
We don't know how much that building's, and what's the property.
Well, we don't know what kind of cleanup and demolition.
And make no difference. I asked.
So we've moved into discussion without a motion, but that's okay.
Oh, my-
Let's continue.
My motion was 25.
Oh, I'm sorry. Your motion, I have a motion for Commissioner Osmer that the appraisal be a 25/75 split.
Yep.
Okay, do I have support?
Yes,
I have support from Commissioner Fournier. Further discussion, please.
okay. Does that includes all the properties, the property the building's on and the two lakefront properties, correct?
Do what?
The appraisal would be yes, for all of
That's
the
how much
property that
property
is
is there.
currently, that is included as part of that parcel. So it would be the building and the
Two
real
lakefronts.
property associated with it. Yes. Yep. And the reason I reached out to Mr. Piazza is he actually did an appraisal for the Boys and Girls Club in 2019. So I was hoping that he could just do an update. But he indicated that given that there has been too much of a change in market conditions for him to feel like he could just do a quick update and it would essentially be a full appraisal. The only cost savings is that he already has all the building information. So this is.
Well, maybe,
Cost.
maybe we should look for more appraisal instead of just him.
We could, based on commercial buildings, that is probably where it's gonna come in. I did make a call to Paul Rose's office and he said it would probably be very similar.
I don't know if Cyber does them anymore than he used to.
This is a full commercial appraisal.
Well, he used to do commercial.
So I
appraisals.
guess the question that I would have in that would be, if he did one in 2019, I know it's 4 years old, going on 5 years old. I'd be curious to know what the appraisal was at that point when they did it, because obviously someone has at the Boys and Girls Club had decided to move forward with an appraisal. I'd just kind of be curious, because we don't have any idea of what it was appraised at. Because, you know, if it was appraised in 2019 and it was 250, obviously, I think it would have only gone up since then. So my question would be, what was it appraised at in 2019?
In 2019.
Didn't see anything in there, did it? Was there something in there?
No, I just got it. It was appraised for $115,000.
15?
It's all went up since then.
I'm sure it did.
Well, yeah.
We'd be pretty close to spending on the appraisal, what the difference would be if we just take the 25 rather than 20. It would be about $5,000 for and change difference rate approximately.
So just a question for you, what made you make your split 25, 75?
I said 20, Brenda said 30.
Oh,
I go up against Brenda a lot, but.
Yeah, that's just how we.
But also the fact that I think I saw that 119,000 or I discussed it with somebody prior and I just felt, again, that was pretty close to, once we spend this on the appraisal, to what the final number would be within a couple, a few $1,000s. Rather than split hairs, let's get this going and done.
That building should end that property on the lake, in the river. Should be up to about 175 by now, because you showed me someplace on the river that you could buy for even 20,000. Be surprised. And the other county commissioners, they put that clause in there for a reason. And this is the reason. really.
So they,
Because if we take that clause off, they can sell the property and do whatever they wanted.
and I do agree, and I discussed that during our last discussion. However, upon further consideration, we already had one board go in and revise what a previous board did. So there's no difference between this board doing the same thing, revising what a previous board did. So a precedent has been set, but I appreciate, I agree.
So we have a motion to recommend approval or to seek an appraisal from, like,
My motion was 2575. That was still on the table, I thought.
I was trying to get there, yeah.
I said-
Because I'm not really sure what the motion is for the 2575.
I didn't mention the appraisal, just basically let them sell it. We take 25% of the profit, they
okay.
take 75%.
So your motion is to allow the Boys and Girls Club of Alpena to go ahead and sell the property without any appraisal, but with, that's a 25 and 75% split. That's your motion.
Correct.
Oh, appraisal?
The appraisal, Brenda, is gonna be almost $5,000 in itself.
Yeah,
So-
that's what he,
So that's why.
They're gonna come in at more than 115 on that building and property.
And we would get a little bit more though.
maybe so.
I would,
You told me 30 and I was trying to be, I'm trying to work.
So do I have support from Commissioner Osmer's to reach out to the Boys and Girls Club of Alpena to allow and agree to a 25-75% split of whatever proceeds are received from the sale of the 601 River Street? That's your motion, correct?
Correct.
Okay, do I have support?
and you're still going, wait, before I say anything, are you still going with 115 appraisal?
No, even if it was
Doesn't matter.
119, but even if it climbed a little bit, we'd still be getting,
I don't care what we're gonna be getting. I'm saying the appraisal.
So we're
I
not
do
going,
care what we're gonna be getting, but I mean,
so let's say it comes back to 200,000. What do you think is a fair percentage?
I'd still let it go at 30,
And I wanted 20, so I just figured by doing 25 at this meeting.
right, but it would be a lot
But if you
more.
don't support that.
Right.
So do I have support to the 25?
support it.
I have support from Commissioner Peterson
let's get this.
for the 20, thank you, sir, for the 25-75%. Any further discussion?
So just to be clear,
Okay.
he would solicit this to the Boys and Girls Club to sell it, and we would get 25% of the proceeds, and we would not do any appraisal.
That's correct. That's what the motion currently indicates. That's correct. We got it. I mean, if it's
If they
100,000 or 200,000, doesn't matter. It's a 25.
If the Boys and Girls Club chooses to do an appraisal, that's
their
great.
business.
They can pay for it and do whatever they want.
And also we're talking, if we were to get an appraisal, the only way an appraisal becomes effective is if we're doing a flat number. If we're doing a percentage, an appraisal is not going to change what it sells. Whether we get the appraisal or not, it's going to sell for what it sells for. The only way an appraisal makes sense is if we're asking for a flat fee in exchange instead of a percentage.
The only thing that, and again, we're still discussing.
Yeah, we
I agree with Brenda. I would rather get a little bump up a little bit higher. And I know that the Boys and Girls Club does a good job on what they're doing, but
Right.
you know, we took our 150 back when we did it or sold it to them. So, you know, even if we could get a little bit more, I think, you know,
Okay, so the motion is for a 25-75 split.
Yeah.
And some people are saying that we should get more. So I got that, but that's a different,
Yeah.
we have to vote on this motion first. Okay, are we in agreement? Let's do a roll call vote, please, on the 25-75, the motion for a 25-75 split.
Commissioner LaHaye,
No.
Commissioner Osmer,
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier,
No,
Commissioner Konashevsky,
Yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski,
no.
Commissioner Francisco.
Yes,
Motion carried.
the motion is carried at a 4-3 vote. Okay.
5-3.
that building is worth.
Or 4-3, yeah.
She was, Brenda, or
We don't know what they're gonna.
Robin did not.
They're gonna sell it for.
I'd vote yes if you want to put me on that packet.
So, okay, the motion is carried and we are not going to, we're not going to act on item number 17.
No,
And we will reach out to the Boys and Girls Club of Alpena to propose this 25-75 split if they choose to sell that property at 601 River Street. Okay, moving on, the FY 24 grant renewal, action item 18, we're looking for approval for the FY
or yeah,
24.
text message.
I wasn't actually.
Right.
We're looking for the approval of the FY 24 marijuana operation and oversight grant renewal application for the District Health Department number 4 in the amount of $9,372 with no county match. And this has been sent for grant review committee approval. However, there is one pen and ink correction that's been brought to my attention on page 138. The grant application, it says Mary Catherine Hanna is the Sheboygan County Administrator. We know that's not true. We know the pen and ink change would be the Alpena County Administrator. It was a typo. It was caught by Commissioner LaHaye, and I appreciate his thorough review and bringing that to my attention. So what I'm looking for is to approve the grant application with the typo correction to,
I'll make that motion.
okay. I have a motion from Commissioner Peterson. Do I have support?
Support.
I have support from Commissioner Lalonde. Any discussion on the grant application? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Osmer,
Yes.
Commissioner Lalonde,
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Konashevsky,
Yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski,
Yes.
Commissioner LaHaye,
Yeah.
Commissioner Francisco.
Yes. This time I look for a motion to rise and report to close the finance portion of this meeting. I have a motion from Commissioner Osmer. Do I have support?
Support.
I have support from Commissioner Konashevsky. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Those opposed, same sign. Hearing none, the motion is carried. Commissioner Chairman Peterson, the meeting is over, sir.
Okay, one quick note before we get started. I'd like to make sure everybody gets their committee appointments into Mary Catherine with what they're requesting. That's coming around the first of the year again, real quick. Okay. Approve all recommendation. Item number 1, approve all recommendation of the Finance and Ways Committee as presented. Do I have a motion, please?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Malone, seconded by,
I'll support it.
support by Commissioner Francisco. All those, now we get a roll call, please.
Commissioner LaHaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Osmer,
Yes.
Commissioner Lalonde,
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Francisco,
Yes.
Commissioner Konashevsky,
Yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson.
Yes. Action item number 20, a motion to approve the consent calendar, which includes actions as listed above and filing of all reports. I have a motion, please.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Motion by Commissioner Francisco, support
Support.
by Commissioner Malone.
Just need to actually poll the personnel committee meetings.
Okay.
Because the action items, there's no action items on the consent calendar. So I guess I have to pull the whole committee meeting minutes.
Want to pull the whole meeting?
Yeah, because I brought this up before, that if we have action items, motions, and within the meetings, that should be on the consent calendar. Otherwise, I have to pull the whole meeting minutes.
Okay, we have a motion to pull personnel committee meeting minutes of Tuesday, December 5th, 2023. Do I have, got a motion? Do I have support?
Support.
Support by Commissioner Konashevsky. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Osmer,
Yes.
Commissioner Lalonde,
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Francisco,
Yes.
Commissioner Konashevsky,
Yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski,
Yes.
Commissioner LaHaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson.
Yes. Okay, now going back to motion to approve the consent calendar, minutes of the personnel committee removed. We have a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Francisco, support.
I'll support.
Support by Commissioner Konashevsky. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Lalonde,
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Francisco,
Yes.
Commissioner Konashevsky,
Yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski,
Yes.
Commissioner LaHaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Osmer,
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson.
Yes. Okay. Action item number 20, a recommendation for the personnel committee to appoint the following candidates to the following boards. Mary Catherine, can we take this the same way? Approve them all anybody can pull one?
You certainly can.
That's why I look for a motion like that. Cool.
Slate.
Yep.
I'll make the motion.
I'll support.
Okay, Commissioner Kozlowski, support by Commissioner Fournier to pull all these together. Anybody want to pull off?
I just have one question on the very last on the planning commission education. They said they have a candidate they would like to put forward for that seat if allowed. We get a name, I guess, before we approve somebody. I mean, I'm guessing if they say if allowed, it means we'd have to okay it. Right?
Thank. I mean, we kind of made a recommendation.
For who, where? That last one, the planning commission. that
You
planning
you
commission.
should hold off on that because I don't have the name from Mary Dunkel.
I'd like to pull that just until we have a name.
And I would need to refresh my recollection on how those internal appointments happen on the planning commission, whether that's something where this board appoints directly into a named seat or whether that's something that happens internally on the planning commission. And I just don't know that off the top of my head, Commissioner Osmer, so I would need to.
And I should have asked, we did discuss that briefly that day, I remember, and they said they had somebody that they'd like to put in, but then it was never clarified whether or not that was us granting them permission to do it for us, or whether it was something they were already doing and they just said, hey, we'd like to pull this candidate.
One particular seat was usually appointed by the school.
Yeah.
And then they haven't had anybody for a number of years. And we just, that one individual that came in, we thought would be a good fit for that position. They were going to recommend to the school if that's somebody that they could put in.
So John, would you change your motion to bundle all the recommendations of personnel committee excluding the planning commission one at the end?
Bundle motion.
Okay. Do I have support?
I'll start.
Support by Commissioner Osmer. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Francisco,
Yes.
Commissioner Konashevsky,
Yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski,
Yes.
Commissioner LaHaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Osmer,
Yes.
Commissioner LaLonde,
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson.
Yes. Hey, anything from public comment?
Just, I guess we discussed
Personnel.
minutes.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Go ahead, John.
Okay, so the two items, I got two items that I wanted to discuss. One of them was a non-union stipend. The more I think about this, the more I have other questions or I guess concerns, not concerns, but things that I want to address. And I actually did because I know, Jennifer sent us an email that we would be discussing this at the full board. So I just want to make sure that we covered everything, because if we move into 2024, the stipend, we want to make sure that all the issues are covered. So the one thing that I have here is the pay. So we came up with a stipend of $1,500 for non-union employees. And the more I thought about it, my thought was that we have probably non-union employees that are part-time. If we're paying $1,500 for the non-union employees, that actually equates to a bigger increase than I guess the 3%, 3.5, whatever this was that we said. So I would like to recommend that we have a lower amount for part-time non-union employees. If anyone has a question or concern with that. And I don't know, I don't know if 1,000 is a bad amount for the non-union employees, which I still think is probably good. But I also think that, I know in Jennifer's email here, she asked if we would carry this over to the position. And I feel that it should not be carried over to the position. I think it should be carried to the person. We're giving the stipend to the individual. And I think one of the reasons that we went that way was because we weren't going to give that 3% or whatever it was, a pay raise, as Commissioner Osmer had discussed. So if we give it to the individual and again, thinking how the turnover has happened at the animal control, we're giving it to the individuals that it's a benefit, not a benefit, it's a perk, I guess, if you will, if they stay. So if we get a lot of turnover and we're giving everyone that stipend, I feel like it should be for the people that are here and dedicated to staying. So my recommendation would be to decrease the amount to, I'm just gonna say a number of $1,000 for the part-time people, because I do know some of the part-time people work up to 30 hours a week or whatever. And then it's associated with the person and not the position.
So you could say all employees who are employed as of December 1st, 2023 would receive it.
Well, I would say by January 1st, because she did say there was somebody new starting.
In calendar year 2023, anybody that's employed, they would
Oh, yeah, yeah.
receive it in 2024.
Yep,
Okay, so anyone who's still employed December
Yes.
31st,
Right.
2023 would receive, okay.
In the amount of 1,500 for full-time and 1,000 for part-time, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Is that your motion?
Yes.
I would support that.
So I have a question.
I have a question as well. Go ahead, Kim.
Is this in?
We got a motion and we got a motion. Second. Now we go discussion.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, we have to wait for the motion.
There was-
Yes.
there was motions.
You're good.
Okay.
Sleeping over there? What?
I don't know. I feel like it's Monday. I can't seem to wake up. I did not have coffee this morning. Do you know off the top of your head how many non-union employees
It was like,
that are full-time and how many are part-time?
We only have one, maybe two part-time, non-union employees.
And then how many full-time?
32, if you
Okay.
count the elected officials. 34 if you count the elected officials.
we're not getting a bonus.
No, I know you're not, but that's
Oh, that just made my day.
So splitting the hairs only saves the county $1,000.
And my only question was because this indicates that this was going to be divided per paycheck. In clarification, that was still what you wanted to
Yes.
do
Yes.
in 2024.
in 2024, yes.
Six pay grades.
It's not-
So that if that person leaves before the end, say they leave and we've had 15 paychecks, then they're forfeiting the rest of that
Yes.
quote unquote stipend.
Correct.
Like,
How long are the part-time?
So if somebody's last day is December 31st, 2023, they don't get that?
I will say something, when the hospital did something similar, they used to call it longevity. When it was a larger amount, you were able to do something with it. I know one thing I always appreciate when they did it, it was always around November, so that was like right before Christmas. But I think when you spread it across paychecks, it's one of those things, like it almost has a little bit of a bad taste to it, because you're like, oh yay, I $10 more in my paycheck. But honestly, if you pick a month or, February 1st, it gets kicked on that next paycheck, it does make more morale wise. It makes more of an impact on a family. Maybe, oh, I need to, fix my car this year or get new tires. Okay, well, I'm going to do it in February because that's when I get my stipend. I will say it's the same amount of money, but it has a bigger impact on a family if it is set as like a bonus, because in a way, this is a bonus.
Well,
This is
so
an
I'll answer
employment
that
bonus.
question. So in my mind, I'm thinking the other employees are getting a percentage increase. So the union employees are getting a percentage increase. So they're already gonna get that 8%, whatever it is, already in their paycheck. So this stipend, in my mind, we didn't give them a percentage increase
Raise.
to their pay. This is in effect their percentage increase weekly. And they do get, if they've been here long enough, they do get a stipend. So they'll still get that, or not a stipend.
They get longevity.
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 After 3 years, if they've already been here 3 years, they're gonna look forward to that longevity check whenever it's paid. I don't know when it's paid. December, yeah. So December, right go spend presents. So when I first thought of it, I was thinking the same way you did. But I thought about it and I said to myself, because I'm talking to myself, that I need to compare it to the other employees that are already getting a percentage increase. So that percentage increase, that $1,500, when you divide it out, I think it's $57 extra pay period into their paycheck would have been, if we chose a percentage increase, would have been probably that same amount.
So, and you'll have to bear with me if this isn't something that could be done, but I'm curious if, I think as employees, one thing people always want is to be heard. Could we take a poll of part-time, full-time, non-union employees and ask them, would you rather have the stipend in your paycheck or would you rather have it as a lump sum? And it's not anything that we couldn't change. if we went to do it another year, but what's wrong with actually sending out a, and
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Bill, if you're proposing the potential of a lump sum, when would that be paid? At the beginning of the year, at the end of the year?
I personally really like the idea. I mean, I can't express the whole hospital. I mean, that's a mass of employees.
Are
They
you
love
talking
that.
upfront or at the end of the year? The beginning of the year or the end of the year for that lump sum payment?
Well,
I would think it would have to be at the end.
I want to hear, I want to hear what she has to
I
say.
like the idea of it going out November 1st.
Okay, so if you're saying November 1st, what if they decide to leave, say in August or September?
They lose it.
They lose the whole
That's
cycle.
one way to ensure that you're getting less turnover. And you'd have to put a date on it. You'd have to say, you gotta give your HR and your clerk time. So you say, as long as you're still employed by October 1st, you can expect your stipend in November 1st.
My thought is I like the, per pay period because you're at least rewarding them for the time that they are here.
That's true.
And that way-
Again, we've given the other union employees a percentage increase, so
Yes.
this in effect equates to the same thing. And if you've been here long enough, you get your.
Longevity.
Yes, that's true. Could we ask them though? I mean, I feel like there's no harm.
I would.
You don't
just
want to
like-
ask them?
I would just like to say, we are not the hospital.
No.
We
I
are
just,
County commissioners, and it is up to us to make the decisions.
but like 900
Or the board.
employees.
So
felt that
I
way.
am not for giving them flat out one fee.
Someone approve my motion?
Yes,
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
I had supported it.
I
Yeah.
was gonna say,
So this is this.
I think per pay period.
I should ask them.
So can we clarify what was the motion?
so the motion was to give full-time the 1,500, part-time 1,000, and then divide it up per paycheck. There was one more thing. I think.
For all employees who were who were
Yes.
employed on
Yeah.
December 31st, 2023.
So starting in
That was-
January, you would get your.
That's the motion. That was a second by
By me.
Commissioner Francisco. Any more discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Francisco,
Yes.
Commissioner Konashevsky,
Yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski,
Yes.
Commissioner LaHaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Osmer,
Yes.
Commissioner Lalone,
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson.
Yes. Okay, we got that taken care of.
But sorry to drag it out.
Okay.
I think that's something cool. We should ask them next year. Take a poll. Let's see what the employees want. Ask them.
Okay, is there anybody here from public comment?
He's not done yet.
You got done? You got one more? Please.
I promise you, this is it.
Oh, okay.
So as I read through the minutes again, one of my concerns, issues was the position title change, job description that we had. As we discussed it, I know Bert was able to leave, and so we had that discussion, motion made and seconded. As I read through it, and again, as I read through the minutes, I guess that's where my concern actually came in. So there was a couple things in the job title change, job description, we had the educational requirement, and I know that was discussed. But I guess my concern is if we're gonna have a job change title description or title change job description and then include educational requirements, then currently we don't have the person with those educational requirements. My feeling is we need to hold off on this. And the second part of that would be to, in the minutes, it said, County Administrator Hanner said there will be no change in pay at this time. And again, my feeling is one, I think it would have to go back because of the one earlier back to TPOAM. So my thought is that we need to hold up on this, either relook at the position, title change, job description, duties, and then educational requirements, and then before we approve this. And I know we made the motion, so I guess my motion now would be to table this until we, I guess, review and get a better idea of the title change, job description, along with the education requirements, and get that, I guess, more refined to what we're gonna do.
That was in the last part of the statements. They're going to discuss it personnel in January.
Well, but it is a motion on there, so.
To approve, right? So, I mean, just as a comment, the change, I think what I said during the committee was there certainly would be no change in compensation for 2024 as the budget has already been set for 2024. So, you know, what happens beyond 2024 is going to be up to the board anyway.
I don't see anything on here what says it's going to the January
No,
personnel.
this would be.
This is the
approved.
last item there on the minutes. It does not say that.
So.
That was something else that was.
And I would echo.
Yeah, mine says we will discuss personnel January.
Which
The last
I'm
item?
looking at, because it's this last,
Personnel from the 5th of December.
right? This is right here, December 5th.
Okay.
This one right here.
That what we.
There are some further up
Yeah,
that discuss that.
Yeah. But not the last item.
The last informational item.
Right, but that'd be for this particular item. This,
Yeah,
that would come back in January, not this.
no, that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
Telemarketing.
This is,
But we're talking about.
this is
Oh,
the
you-
teleworking one. This is the other one. Yeah.
Oh,
This is
okay.
the one for.
Oh, okay.
this one here.
Okay.
After I had time to digest it, there were a couple of items that I would have liked to have redlined possibly. Well, I appreciate the spirit of it and probably wouldn't be opposed to some change. There are a couple of things I would like to redline and so I wouldn't mind that coming back.
I guess I'll make a motion to table this at this time.
Till January.
Well, till we have further, better
Yeah.
discussion, I guess, maybe a personnel.
Personnel in January. We got a motion by Mr. Kozlowski to table it till January personnel meeting. Worked by Commissioner LaHaye. Any more discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Konashevsky,
Yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski,
Yes.
Commissioner LaHaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Osmer,
Yes.
Commissioner LaLonde,
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Francisco,
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson.
Yes. Okay, John, did it?
That's it. Well, I will have a couple comments.
Public comment. Anybody in the public want to speak up? Anybody on raising their hand? Not? John?
One last item, and that I just found out about this last night, and I wanted to bring it to our attention, county commissioners. And I thought maybe Steve might be here, but, so there was an incident at the base, with one of the airfield snow blowers, yesterday, where basically, and this is, I guess, the result of the airport not having their snow blower in operation since last year. The base used one of the snow blowers to go remove a windrow, which is basically you push all the snow to one side. I think someone, whoever it was, pushed the snow too far to the side when the individual that was driving the snow blower, they have manhole covers or whatever, they're heavy duty steel plates on the airfield where the lights are, and they're not marked, so the snow got covered over on one of those things. Basically, put the metal plate through the snow blower, and we're talking probably $25,000 at a minimum. And now our snow blower is down. So my point is, I guess, one, we need to get the snow blower is the airport snow blower up and operational, because now the base is down to one snow blower and a repair cost of probably $25,000.
Is the base going to pay for the repairs of the snow blower? Since there was their operator that did it?
Well, our operator did it because the base, or because the airport snow blower has been down for close to a year.
So the county employee was running the base's snow blower?
The county employee,
Okay.
oh, no. The
base employee.
employee was running because they were cleaning off the runway because the airport doesn't have the equipment to blow the snow.
So they were helping him out.
So the base was doing the county a favor. And then as a result, put a metal plate through the snow blower.
Because the county did not have a marker there.
Well, that's part of it, but because they push the snow too far, when you plow the runway, you basically push it over away from the center line, but not to the lights, and you have a plow that goes down on the inside, keep it away from the lights. I think someone pushed it over too far on the lights, and when the snow blower went down, didn't know where the lights were because they weren't marked, and put a plate through the snow.
Would
So
that be
we-
an insurance claim?
Yes, the government does not have insurance. You as a taxpayer are the insurance, so. So
I guess my first question is, I don't remember seeing anything in the budget to get that snow blower fixed.
And this is, this has been, from what I was just told this morning, it was something that the snow blower has been down for at least, if not a year, close to a year. So apparently last year the base was using, we have 2 snow blowers at the base and now we're down to 1.
So our snow blower went down last February and Steve has been on a quest to get it repaired, but we have not been able to find a shop who can take on the repair. It's a combination of the snow blower being very old and also having interesting parts that go on those big blowers. It was budgeted for us to look to purchase a new piece of equipment this year, but because of the issue with the intersection of the runway, which you may recall, which cost us an extra $1 million, that ate up our AIP money that we were going to be using to purchase 2 new pieces of equipment. So that has to be put off another year. So we will be ordering that equipment in 2024 for delivery in 2025. But yes, in the meantime, it means that we have been borrowing the base's equipment to do that particular task.
Well, and I do
The good
know-
news is there's lots of back and forth between us and the base. Thankfully, it's been very nice. They use some of our equipment for certain things. We use some of their equipment for certain things. So yes. It's an
And the
ongoing
bottom
issue.
line is, there's, going forward, obviously, if the county's snow blower is not repaired, base is down to 1 snow blower right now. And so obviously the county or the base is not responsible for the runway. We're just responsible for the taxiways, some of the taxiways and the ramp. But obviously with the county's blower down and now the base's blower, we're down 1. We have one blower to clear the runway.
Oh, so it sounds like the county can either pay the $2,500 to get
Well,
the
25,000.
1,000 rather.
I
25,000,
don't
yeah.
think the county, the base is gonna ask for the money. I literally
Right,
just
but if they
asked.
don't ask and they don't get the other one fixed, what's the county supposed to do first?
What the county needs to fix, we need to fix our.
There you go.
And we have been working on this because.
And they're gonna help us come this way.
Well, they have a solution and we do have a joint use agreement that is about how we jointly use the asset, which is the runway. And thankfully, right now, it's a loose agreement. It needs fixing. It needs to be much more specific about how we do things and how we help each other out with maintenance on the airport, which is a task that is set for January that we meet to start to do that because that agreement actually expires in 2024. So it will need to be redone in 2024. But yes, it is absolutely an issue. And, you know, Steve Smigelski and I have been talking about it. He's been working on trying to find somebody to repair ours. And it is on the list to purchase new equipment so that we have good working equipment out at the airport. I think our current snow removal massive machine is like from I think it's before I was born. I don't even want to say how old it is.
Well, they
It's
do-
very
they did-
old.
I remember, I think when we first became
One of
commissioners,
them
we
is.
got a new plow or whatever. And I remember the front page of the news was like, airport gets a new plow to plow the runways. And I'm thinking, they have no idea because if it wasn't for the base, we have like 7 plows and 2 blowers. We've done a majority of that in the years past, the majority of that cleaning. So, and I was one of them, 3 o'clock in the morning plowing those runways is not fun. So,
Are you gonna get theirs fixed?
no, I'm not having anything to do.
Anything else? Gotta be fixed. It's about,
What's that?
it's gotta be fixed.
Yeah.
Question about it?
No, it's gotta be fixed. Get it fixed.
Yeah.
Anything else, John?
No,
Not?
I've said enough, I think, today.
Move to adjourn.
I got a motion to adjourn by Commissioner Osborne,
I'll
support
support.
by Commissioner Malone. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
John, you got a minute before you leave?